Okay, season is winding to a close. I have a bit of a sinus infection, so I have to put up with my nasalness. Here, we have a little pumpkin on the way. That's one of the pumpkins that came up on its own. And there's the girls having arguments. And there's a bigger pumpkin, yay, down there. Should probably pull both of those. Or maybe I'll leave them on the vine. We're going to have a super heat wave for the next 2 days. The one pumpkin I did pick, well, I picked two. One of them's in the neighbor's basement, but then I got a huge one out of the garden. I was calling that the great pumpkin, or the good pumpkin, or the very, very good pumpkin for this year. It's about 25, 30 pounds, and that one's in the kitchen. It did sit in the sun for a couple days, but I think it's going to be too hot for it to sit out for the next couple days. Mostly here we have gourds. And again, these are the plants that came up by themselves. Most of them are gourds. I had learned that last year I made a mistake when harvesting the gourds. You have to wait until the stem is dry, and the gourd, you can't scratch the gourd with your thumbnail, and then it's ready to harvest. So what happens if you harvest them early is they rot. They should last for, a few years. And those didn't even last over the winter. There we go. More gourds. A lot like that. So, anyway. Okay, this is where the huge pumpkin, let's see, the excellent pumpkin, that's what it's called, the excellent pumpkin came from here. It was big enough that it carved out a permanent space for itself. Over there we have a duchess. I don't know if you can see it. Duchess pumpkin, another duchess pumpkin over there. Corvette's having a terrible year. It keeps forming pumpkins and then dropping them, so we're not going to have any Corvette this year. Maybe a couple duchesses if those hang on. I'm thinking these little beds probably didn't do the pumpkins a whole lot of good because they all failed. There's no reason for that to happen except the beds are no good. I was thinking of getting rid of them anyway. So next year we have a few more pumpkins here, jack-o'-lanterns, which are the same as the huge one that is in the kitchen now. Since it dropped that one pumpkin, or since I took the one pumpkin, it's been creating a whole bunch of new ones. So most of our pumpkins this year are going to be mystery pumpkins that came up on their own, and also jack-o'-lantern, the vine I bought. So next year, I have made a decision, taking the beds out. But one pumpkin I'm growing is a short vine pumpkin. Excuse me. So that may be able to grow in a bed, so I'll just get a deeper bed. These beds are awfully shallow. And anyway, I'm growing jack-o'-lantern over the ground like you see here. And I'm also going to be growing a Russian pumpkin that I can't pronounce it, and I can't remember the translation. Something like big orange or something like that. So, or puffy orange, I don't know. Looks kind of puffy, and it's a short vine. So, but doesn't have disease resistance. Then again, growing these pumpkins, any pumpkins with white icicle radishes, just seems to take all the problems away, at least for the most of the summer. I did find an outburst of squash bugs the other day, and I sprayed them with 7 and they're gone. So usually by this time of the year everything would be powdery mildewed to death, and squash bugs all over the place. Knock on wood, it just hasn't happened yet. So I am enthused, and next year is going to be a total change of pace here. It's going to take up a lot more room. I'll probably only have 2 or 3 jack-o'-lantern vines because they are so rangy. And this one's gone all the way over into the tomatoes. So we'll see. Oh, there's my hummingbird. Hummingbird. Whoops, hummingbird. Looks like a female. I didn't catch her though. Darn it. All of a sudden she doesn't like her nectar anymore. Let's see what else we got. Got a lot of tomatoes. I'm thinking of going to the food pantry to donate them today because I just had 4 teeth out and I cannot really chew on chewy things right now. And tomato skin can be chewy. So I'm not sure what to do with these tomatoes, but we'll see. And there are my sunflowers, most of which came up by themselves. I think that's what the hummingbird was going after. So anyway, just taking advantage of the last nice day before we go into a real heat wave for a couple days, and showing you what my little update for the garden. I'll give you a bigger update when I'm feeling better. This has turned into quite a marathon. So yeah, have a good week. I hope to see you next week. Here's part of our pumpkin harvest for this year. Yeah, here's my poodle. Hi. Yeah, this is a jack-o'-lantern, and you can't tell from it being on film, but it's big. It's about 25 pounds. And the rest of these came out of, no, not this one. This is a Duchess. These 3 came out of this little garden over here. And there's at least one more still in the garden. There's also a poodle in the garden. So, pretty good haul from this garden. This is mostly gourds. So we're going to have a lot of gourds this year. But, got those so far. And we have another huge one, it's jack-o'-lantern, growing in the tomatoes. Excuse the mess over there. I keep meaning to clean out my garage and call the junkers. It's hard to see, but I saw it this morning, and it's gigantic, and it's in here somewhere. But anyway, all this, oh my, we have got some invaders in this garden here. That one eating my tomatoes. Yeah, it's in here, and it's big, and I have decided, because of all the success growing jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, that I'm going to grow them next year, even though they are very invasive. Well, it's in here. That's all I can say. Maybe I was seeing things. Okay, well, it'll show up eventually. I'm going to grow jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and also a Russian short vine pumpkin that I cannot pronounce the name of. Those will be over here where all the freebies came up. The short vine ones will. And jack-o'-lanterns will be in here. I'm going to get rid of these beds because I believe they're too shallow for pumpkins to grow in. I'm not getting much production out of these short vine pumpkins at all. This is Corvette. Corvette has set a couple of pumpkins and then dropped them. Duchess, we got 1 pumpkin. We're going to get 2. Not very good production, so no short vine pumpkins next year except for the Russian one. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's another giant. I think that's going to be as big as the one on the porch. Almost as big. And that's not all of the jack-o'-lanterns either. The neighbors have one. So, yeah, a lot of big tomatoes. We do have mice in here at night chewing on them, so the ones that are on the bottom are not making it to the table. This is, let's see, Super Steak, and there's Galahad over there. Galahad had real bad blossom end rot, and I went out and bought a spray, and within a week it turned around, and I'm starting to get Galahad tomatoes without blossom end rot. So, and we've gotten quite a few rose peppers. Over here we have giant Marconi, which hasn't been doing great since this spring. But we're getting plenty of rose peppers, so that's okay. And there's noisy poodles. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's very late in the season. We've had a little bit of powdery mildew, but not a lot. So, and I've had 1 outbreak of squash bugs, and they went away after 1 spray of 7. There's another, I don't know if you can see it. There's another jack-o'-lantern, and another one. Yeah, so that's my pumpkin for next year. And my concerns with these heirloom pumpkins have been powdery mildew and squash bugs, and it seems that growing pumpkins with these white icicle radishes eradicates a lot of the problems. So that's what I'm going to do next year. Lots of radishes, 4 pumpkin plants, and 4 little pumpkin plants. So over here we have our pond. I was going to show you how big my frog has gotten. He's really grown. He hangs out here quite a bit. Yeah, so that I'm running out of battery. So that'll be this week's little installment, and I hope to see you next week. I'm just not doing very well this summer on keeping a schedule. Talk to you later.